Hey guys, what's going on? This is Panzer Dragon, and today we'll be doing a little video on my worst roles and why I suck mad dick at them, and things that I find hard about the role and why I suck at it and struggle at these roles. So basically anything but jungle. And maybe this will give you some insight on the roles and what's hard about them. Or maybe you just want to learn a new role. Who knows? But I just want to make a little video on why I suck. Anyways, with all that being said, let's get started. Alright, so first up, my best role and my least worst role is the jungle. So if you guys want to know the story behind why I main jungle in the first place, it's because when I was leveling from 1 to 30, my friends didn't want jungle, so I did. But as you guys know, it was kind of hard to jungle with some champions if you didn't have the right runes, so there'd always be like 2 people in the top lane. But once I get to a certain level, I'd go to the jungle, and the reasons why I stuck with the jungle is because I liked the fact that it was consistent, and there were no factors that could alter the performance of you just killing the monsters, while in the laning phase, you have to face against other people who might be better than you or are shittier than you, and I didn't like that. I didn't like getting shit on or shitting on them. Actually, I did like that part, but I sucked back then, so I got shit on a lot. So I was like, fuck this, I'm going to the jungle. And I stuck with it. Also, just farming in general and getting a nice source of consistent income was an aspect of the jungle that appealed to me. And also figuring out clears with, each champion, that was kind of fun as it was a puzzle. But yeah, basically I couldn't screw up in the jungle, but, in the lanes I could sometimes screw up and I wouldn't be having a good time. Another reason why I picked the jungle is because the jungle is not really so mechanically intensive. I mean, you're fighting monsters, not humans, so you don't have to change up your playstyle in the jungle, you can just do what you did in the last game. So yeah, no mechanics required, I don't have that, it makes sense why I'd play it. The jungle is also like an RTS because it's heavily based on decision making and what to do next, and also, being the shot caller of your team or the leader. I like that. I like power. I like telling people what to do. And yeah, the jungle is just a big puzzle and you gotta figure out what the best moves are. And I've been playing it for a long time, so that's why it's my least worst role. And I haven't really been performing too well in ranks, so there's still a lot for me to discover and how to solve the puzzle. Now my second least worst role is going to be support. So why do I find this role the second easiest role to play? So support is all about being a backline bitch. You let your teammates carry you, you're like the least impactful player in team fights since you don't have any gold, and in the laning phase, you let your AD carry do all the work. Also, I'm not gonna lie, but most supports aren't really too mechanically intensive except for some. So warding is something I'm actually good at. Like, as a jungler, you have a trinket, which gives you wards, or you can go Tracker's Knife. Since I know what places to ward and what needs to be warded, that's gonna be easy for me to translate to support position, so I have an idea of what needs to be warded. It's also the role that has probably the least carry potential to do nothing and still win. One thing I understand about support is when to roam, when to lane freeze, when to play passive, which is what most of my champions do in the support role. And also, since I'm not CSing, I can look at the map, ping some shit that I see, or tell my teammates whatever is happening, and I just noticed a lot more things going on the minimap, so I'm very aware of my surroundings and what's happening around the map. Now, how did I learn some of the things from support that I know today? Honestly, I think it was just watching other support players and what they do in my games. I just noticed some things they do, so I just copied their playstyle and inputted it into mine. Like, deep wards is really good for a team to have, and as a jungler, I also try and emphasize that as well. But I think it's safe to say that anyone in high elo can honestly play support at a decent level because they all have their own champions and they know what to do with them. The support mains, of course, know what to do with them and play it better. So, some things I lack in the support department is knowledge of lane matchups. I don't know shit at all. I just play a few champions and do what they're supposed to do, and if it works out, good for me. If not, ooh, I made a mistake. The only thing I do know is the limits of my champion that I am playing, and also sometimes actives can be a little bit hard to use. If you have a Mikhails and say a Solari, or maybe you're the one who has to put a pink ward down for the Rengar on the other team. Sometimes you can screw up that, but that's something I gotta work on as a support. And yeah, once you know how to ward and like where to ward, supporting's kind of easy as long as you know what your champion does. Unless you're playing a champion like Thresh or something, then it gets a little tricky. But yeah, supporting's a role that's not really too impactful and doesn't require me to do a lot of things in the game, except know how to play the map, and I already know that because I play jungle. Alright, so this is gonna be a weird one, but my third worst role is going to be the AD carry. This is more specifically to the champions I can play, easy champions like Ashe, who doesn't require a lot of mechanics to play, but is useful as fuck when played as she's supposed to be played. Kiting is easy, and an AD carry has a linear mindset where he should just focus anything in front of him and kite them. That's honestly it. Focus whatever is in front of you and kill them. But one thing like it's hard for AD carries to do is to have good positioning. But what good positioning is basically being in your back line, being with your support, and just not being in melee range with the enemy, and you're good to go, or of course avoiding possible threats that might come to you. Flashing at the right time is also a hard thing, but for me, basically it's flash when I see danger, and that's it for me. But I am playing a utility AD carry, so I'm still useful even if I suck. Of course, I do have some experience in the jungle as a marksman since there's like Kindred and Graves, but one of the reasons why I suck at AD carry is because there's a lot of mechanically intensive champions like Vayne, Callista, Draven, etc. So those are champions I can't play. And anything with a dash. Whenever a champion has a dash, that adds more complexity to an AD carry. Like if you dash at the wrong moment, you suck. But if you dash at a good moment, you're good. When you're playing someone like Ashe, there's no being suck or being good. There's only shoot and walk backwards. With someone like Vayne, there's shoot, walk forwards or backwards, and dash. So that does add a little complexity to playing these champions. That's one of the reasons why it's better to play something like Ashe who has a high win rate and doesn't require a lot of mechanics to play, than a champion like Lucian who has a mediocre win rate. Actually, it's pretty shit for like platinum players, but the thing is in low elo, they might fuck up with their dash more frequently than like master or challenger players, and since I'm not a master or challenger level AD carry, I play Ashe. Another thing I struggle with the AD carry role is the laning phase. I don't understand the matchups. The only thing I understand is farming, especially under tower, and an AD carry's job is to just farm. And most AD carries in high elo, they aren't really too aggressive, they just kind of farm as well. I mean, they harass you once in a while, but honestly it's just farming most of the time. It's actually the support's job to be the carry in the 2v2 lane, and he's the one who really pressures the lane, which is kind of weird for me because support is my second best role, and usually when I play support I feel like my AD carry, he's the one doing all the work, while when I'm AD carry, my support's doing all the work. So I don't know, it's kind of weird for me, but yeah, I know when to freeze, I know when to push and handle the creep wave, etc. You know, just from playing the game too much. And yeah, AD carry is not so hard, especially if you're not playing someone with a dash. Now my second least favorite role, and worst role, I'd say is my mid lane. Mid lane is a 1v1, with a lot of champions who have a lot of mechanics involved with them. So it's a pretty hard lane to play from the start, and you're all by yourself. So you gotta know when to harass, how to harass, when to play passive, when to play aggressive, how to just honestly shit on your laner, and know what to do in each matchup, and that's kinda hard because there is a lot of mid lane champions at the moment. And look, there's two sides you can be ganked from. Oh, that's a little scary. And yeah, sometimes there's a lot of 1v1s where you gotta outplay your mid laner to actually win. And to be a good mid laner, you have to know how to pressure your mid laner and just know how to play the lane to its full efficiency. I mean, there is a reason why everyone adores Faker, because he's known as the best player because of his sick plays. But yeah, this is the role where all the super hard carries go to become the best. I don't have the mechanics required to play some of these champions to the fullest efficiency. My reflexes aren't the best, but what I'm good at is roaming with the champion. A good mid laner knows how to pressure other lanes with his presence in the mid lane. The mid laner's job is to roam whenever he sees action on the other side of the map, or if he knows he can get a kill, which is similar to ganking, which is an aspect of the jungle. And if you know your kill potential when you're going to another lane, then you're gonna be awesome. But I do like in the laning phase department and knowing what to do in the 1v1 matchup, which makes my mid lane skill pretty shitty, and it's hard for me to pressure him and the other lanes, which is what a good mid laner should be able to do. And for my shittiest role at the moment is gonna be the top lane. So the top lane is all about carries right now. Unlike mid lane, it is a much longer lane and you're by yourself, so getting ganked more is more easier than a mid lane. When it was like tanks in the top lane, I was decent at that because you can't screw up as much as a tank, but as a carry, you're a little prone to getting fucked if you don't do good. It's also sometimes an island where you have to be able to 1v1 the enemy top laner, and I feel like unlike the mid lane, a mistake you do in the top lane is more punishable than it is in the mid lane because the enemy could freeze his minions at his tower, and you can't go there because if you go there, he can trade with you or do something to screw you up and you'll be at a bigger disadvantage. So I'd say top lane is very snowbally and oppressive against your opponent. At least in mid lane you can actually farm, since they have to either push to their tower and there's not a lot of room to freeze under the turret. And one thing I'm decent at in the top lane is like teleporting when needed, but since there's other challenger players who know what they're doing, they can easily punish me more harder than if I were in the mid lane, since it is a longer lane. Thus, the top lane is my worst role unless I play a tank. Otherwise, at least for me right now, it's a bunch of squishies, although I might find a new tank soon. But anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want, you can comment below on what is your worst role and why. Mine's top lane, cause it's too snowbally. But anyways, if you guys did like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I am Panzer Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, what's going on? Fuck! Hey guys, what's going on? This is Panzer. Hey guys, what is going on? This is Panzer Dragon. What is up, guys? It's your host, Keller Keemstar. Let's get right into the news.